controversy at PFL 3 this evening. Boys, was there a tap or was there not a tap? If you missed PFL 3 in the main event, we had Fabricio Werdum versus, how do you say his name, Drake? Because I'm going to butcher it.
Renan Ferreira.
There you go. And it started out with two flying knees at each other. Very fast-paced fight. Werdum had a triangle locked in and seemed to get a choke down, was going between that and an arm bar. And at some point, it looked like Renan tapped his shoulder a little bit. Werdum said he felt the tap, but referee didn't see it. No nonsense. Keith Peterson just missed that. And Renan just kept throwing hammer fists on Werdum at the ground, ended up getting the TKO win. Werdum contested it. Replay shows what a lot of the announcers and a lot of people seem to think are a clear tap. So I guess from here, let's put this into two parts. One, do we think that Renan did tap and basically got away with it? And two, what does the commission do here if that is the case? Matt, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, he definitely taps, and he gave the good old Brazilian tap, right? You know, the hidden tap outside of the ref's view, just to get enough of a reaction to, you know, let Werdum kind of loosen up on the choke a little bit. It's hard to tell, though, if, you know, watching the clip back, even in slow motion, it's hard to tell if Werdum actually does ever loosen up the grip. Like he said in the post-fight interview that, you know, he stopped fighting after he felt the tap, but in fact, he actually brought his other hand over and started pulling down on the choke more. So it's kind of hard to tell if there was even just a split second there, because even a split second can make a world of difference in those moments. But those things are kind of in conflict with what, you know, Werdum was saying. But there definitely was a tap. It was a solid open hand, you know, two tap on the shoulder thing. Ref didn't see it. Obviously, he was in the wrong position, but it was a sneaky, savvy veteran move, I guess you could say. One that I would expect from a guy like Fabricio, coincidentally. But no, it's a weird situation, man. But in terms of what's the commission going to do about it, that's going to be interesting to see, because apparently, according to Mark Raimondi, who was talking to the New Jersey State Athletic Commission Board, I think is what that acronym NJSCAB stands for. Whole lot of letters there. Apparently, PFL does not use instant replay, but it is available in New Jersey. So it's interesting that, you know, a promotion touting all of the smart technology is not using the simplicity of replays in their fights. But yeah, I guess the smart cage is not smart enough for instant replay usage. I don't know. There's a joke in there somewhere.
If only the cage was able to pick up on the tap. Just everything went red. It's just like, he tapped. That's it.
Exactly, right? Something.
Gotta up the intelligence of that smart cage. Drake, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
My thoughts are, Pat, that you missed a layup, man. No nonsense, Keith Peterson, allowing plenty of nonsense tonight. Am I right? Jeez, what are the odds of that? That's my favorite part about this whole thing, is that he was the guy here. Got mad with that one. Yeah, this it's funny. What a year, or last so many months it has been for MMA rules and regulations. You know, we already got Stamp Fairtex's phantom tap situation, which was definitely a tap. Now we got this one. We're having plenty of knee strikes to downed opponents, up kicks, all this craziness. Fence grabs last week. We're all over the place with rules and whatnot these days. But this case, it's just kind of how fights work, and it was a missed. So it definitely was a tap, I would say, from Ferreira. But interesting. It's a very interesting case because of the fact that he taps, twice pretty clean. Goes in with his hand for the third time, doesn't really tap, but puts his hand on Werdum and then starts dropping bombs after tapping. Like, it almost, in that regard, makes you think he did it as a strategy, right? Like, because it wasn't, very blatant, like, get me out of here, I'm dying tap, like, I can't breathe. Not that kind of case where somebody's desperately trying to get out of there. And especially since he did continue to throw bombs afterward. But obviously that's not a smart idea. Worked out for him. But it's just very bizarre. I think it's definitely a tap. Werdum has all right to be upset about it when you got somebody locked in like that, and the referee was just on the complete opposite side, but really didn't look like he was looking kind of at least that hand, obviously, of Ferreira. It's obviously, you can't say exactly what he saw, but just from looking at the whole setting, the scene there, it's a very unique case, but undeniably a tap, I think. In terms of what they should do, they should definitely run it back, make this a no contest. I don't even, what would they give them each points in that case? Because that's generally what they do with draws in the PFL, right? So it really makes things very odd. Will they do anything? It feels 50-50 for me, because usually in cases with commissions, they don't like to admit they're wrong. But in this case, it's not really a matter of that. It's a case of, oh, well, we didn't see something that legitimately happened and means the fight's over. So in this case, I feel like there's a lot higher chance than if there was if there was a decision that people didn't agree with, right? Because in that case, I don't know if that's ever happened, unless it's Fedor and Fabio Maldonado. That's the only one, and that was kind of fishy business there. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how this plays out, but I think that all the evidence is pretty clear for the most part.
Yeah, it's hard to, playing off of your wordplay there, Drake. You're right. I did miss the layup, but Dominic Cruz has got to feel some vindication right now, right? It's just, he was sitting at home just super excited to see that it was Keith that missed this. But in reality, looking at the situation, it's tough because they had instant replay available, and their reasoning for not using instant replay was that while New Jersey allows instant replay, they were going to have events in other areas where the commission does not allow for instant replay. So they wanted the rules to all be, identical. I get that from, I understand why you might want to do that, but at the same time, I feel like this is an added bonus that you should take advantage of if you have the ability to do it. And coupled with the fact that when it comes to New Jersey, they have the self-evident and palpable error standard for combat sports appeal, which essentially means that it has to be pretty blatant in terms of a ref really messing up. And I don't know that this meets that criteria. I mean, Peterson did miss the tap. I do believe it is a tap. It was a little sneaky there, and it wasn't, blatant like, hey, 5 taps on the shoulder, and then all of a sudden raining down fists. It was, 2 little taps. But I don't know that it's going to be so, egregious that it's going to meet that standard. And if you have a commission that has that type of standard in place, you have to use instant replay, because instant replay would have clearly overturned this as a win for Werdum. I don't know what they do now, if they do overturn, if the PFL makes an internal decision to give them both points, how that all is going to work. But it obviously affects the rest of the season, right? Now, Werdum has 0 points, and you've got 3 guys, I think, with 5 or 6 points. So you've got to really step up and get a finish pretty much next time out. Otherwise, you're really risking your spot for the playoffs. So it's a mess. And this is just, real short-sighted on the PFL for not implementing instant replay, because that's who it's on. It's not on the commission. But I don't know that we're going to end up getting anything, satisfactory in terms of a resolution here. I really feel like the committee in New Jersey is going to look at that standard and say, like, no, it was an honest mistake. Referee couldn't see, was kind of a short tap, and sorry, it's got to be upheld. And then Werdum's just screwed out of 6 points, and that could cost his entire season. So I don't know what they're going to do here. It really just seems like a giant cluster at this point.
Gotta love it. They could learn a thing or two from Shibatar, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that they could.
That we all could.
Yes, of course. But let us know your thoughts on the, phantom tap. What first of all, do you believe it was a tap? Second of all, if you do, what do you think the commission does here? If you don't believe it is a tap, a true, tapping out, let us know in the situation. Obviously, both men continued to fight past the tap. So it's, I see some argument there. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification button as always. And let's hope that, instant replay just gets integrated for all commissions, because this is ridiculous. This shouldn't have been an issue. Just use instant replay. Every other sport does it now. Do it.